This next stage of recruitment, absolutely critical to the entire recruitment process, and it is qualifying the job. Very simple. And what does qualifying the job mean? Very simply put, you actually knowing what the heck you want. For a specific position, there's always a needs list. What do you want? What is everything you require out of a person and out of that position? So when you are qualifying the job, it's so important to have everyone that's involved in recruitment to be sitting in a meeting. So here's my action item that I'm going to give to you. You are expected to host a meeting with everybody that has influence on this position that you're trying to fill. So you've gone ahead so far and you have cleaned up shop, you made a pre-recruitment checklist, all this stuff, and now your company as a whole is ready to hire. However, in that company consists different hiring managers. Could be you as the owner, could be somebody else that's involved, but everyone has influence on who's going to come in. You need to ask yourself the very first question is, who has influence on the selection process? All those people need to sit together in one room, because the biggest mistake a company makes is the following, is that people that have influence for the person they're going to select for a specific position, there's multiple people and they don't actually sit together and are all on the same page and look for the same thing. You'll never end up hiring the right person, because for one person, they may think they're perfect. For the other person, they may think they're not. And a big factor of this, a very simple example, is the following. An owner is hiring for a certain position and asks their assistant or their HR person to go hire for that position. If the owner does not sit with the person that is tasked to go out and look for someone and have an in-depth conversation on this position and what the requirements are, then this is where you're going to have a very big disconnect, and you'll never find the right person. It'll be very difficult, and there's going to be team frustration. So there is such thing here, I've got in my manual here, is a qualification form. This isn't something that is, I could send you a template, no problem, but this is so basic on your end that you just need to do is a specific templated format for your business. And if you're looking for a PDF and a template, I'm happy to give it to you. Just follow any of the links below and you'll be able to find the downloadable PDF complimentary on the house from us. But what I want to share with you is, in that qualification form, you need to have the following. You need to have, for each person, and this is a copy of it right here, for first of all, the position, you need to have the position right at the top, with a title, clear title of what it is. You're going to put in, does this position have overtime or not? What's the wage for this position, or wage range that we expect? Are we offering benefits, 401ks, etc. for this position? But then going into position details like the following. Position values. Okay, describe how this position or individual is going to benefit the company as a whole. You're going to talk about responsibilities in depth. What is this person coming in for this position? The actual position responsibilities. What are they going to be? What's the education that they're going to be required? What's the years of experience? Any programmer software that they're going to need to know? Any qualifications? Disqualifications is a big one. What would disqualify someone? And being on the same page as a team, right? Then you're going to dive into specifically knockout questions. What are you going to ask in those interviews? You guys all need to be on the same page. When you qualify a job, you need to understand, okay, now that we meet people, how are we going to filter? What are we going to ask? And if I'm asking a set of questions and somebody else in the second round interview is asking the same questions, well, we didn't learn anything different. We need to play a part in what questions are we going to ask at what stage. This is a very big conversation. I teach a whole course on a whole hour worth of talking about qualifying the job. This is a very short video I'm making for you to bring up the awareness, but to really dive in to job qualifying. If you get this wrong, you will hire the wrong person. So my advice to you is the following. Don't focus on the person, focus on the position. It's called a job qualification form, not a person qualification form. That is a very powerful statement. I'll say this again. It's a job qualification form, not a person qualification form. So as a business, you have a position. You need to design that position in depth to understand what's the purpose of that position existing. Because if we're going to take someone else's time out of their life to come and be in this position and to fill this position with them, we better have crystal clear expectations on what the purpose of this position is. That's why the very first question we ask on here, it's the position value. Describe how this position will benefit the company and the department. What's the purpose? Make it crystal clear. Because once you know what the expectations are for this position, all you have to do is find someone that could do the expectation. Very simple. And that's when we're going to get into the later stages of this as far as what are all the different recruitment strategies. But for now, You need to have a clear understanding on the position itself. What's going to be our requirements for that position? Is there overtime for that position? Just like I mentioned earlier, what software is that person going to need? Just like I mentioned earlier. And really understanding, also a very important question to ask yourself is, what's our current strategy? Because this is the part where you're going to determine the following. For this position, are we going to have to headhunt, or are we going to have to just put up a posting? I just had this conversation with somebody where they're looking for a foreman for a position, but they think just putting up a posting will get the job done. Well, a foreman for a position that requires 10 years of experience, I've said it the following. That person is getting 10 years, has 10 years of experience, and is someone of value at another company. So I think the strategy here is headhunting, not recruiting with job postings. So we're going to get into in a later chapter the difference between inbound and outbound recruitment, when to headhunt and how to headhunt versus when to just put up job postings, how to effectively put up a job posting. But for now, what I want to share with you is this, is gaining clarity, understanding, okay, this is the position that we need. Where is this right person? Where are they? Are they somebody that is very valued somewhere we'd have to headhunt? Or are they somebody that we could just put up a posting and train them within the next 3 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and we'll be all set? That's going to be an expectation conversation. The message of this video is the following, and it's one thing and one thing only. I gave you one action item. Sit down with everybody that influences the position and the decision on the position, right? Everybody has to be on the same page. This also includes the recruiter. This is recruiters, HR managers, this is assistants, this is managers, operations managers, the owner themselves, vice presidents. Everybody that will decide on this person have to be sitting together in a room and talking about this position for a half hour on what's the purpose of this position, who their ideal candidate is for that specific position. And once you gain clarity, you then unlock the next step of recruitment. So enjoy, have fun, and host that meeting as soon as possible.
Hey, thanks for watching our content. Listen, if you're running a business and you're struggling to find staff, I want to introduce myself. My name is Christian Saab. I own CPG Recruitment, and I help companies across North America find the people that they need to find. Listen, a great business cannot be built unless you've got great people. You and I both understand that having the right people on your team is so important, and that's where I could come in and help you. So listen, I want you to shoot me a text message. Here's my direct cell phone. Have my number. Reach out to me. I'd love to hear your story and get to know what you're trying to accomplish, and that way maybe I can help you fix this problem.